Hello and welcome back to the SJR Sports Podcast. Let's get right into it. Our game of the week last week was Lions-Bills. So, some key takeaways, guys. Seb, you want to go ahead?
Well, first off, I'm sure we all know Knuckles from the Sonic and Knuckles duo is now hurt with I think it was a torn MCL, and he's not looking good for the rest of the regular season, if the playoffs.
Absolutely stinks.
Bills are looking legit, looking like a prime Super Bowl contender, and that they could take the one seed in the AFC from the Chiefs, and certainly have a shot to do some special things this postseason.
For sure. AJ?
Yeah, I think this also helps the Bills' case a lot as one of the top contenders, which I think they even topple the Chiefs, which I think has been pretty obvious through this point. Josh Allen, all around the Bills' offense has been playing really good. James Cook is coming alive late, and they're just doing everything right as of late, I think.
Definitely. Coming back to the Lions here, listen, injuries are plaguing this team, and I think we're going to see in the next 2 to 3 weeks, these guys are going to fall off. Dan Campbell, no matter how many times he says it, the team's got heart, the team's got soul. What does heart and soul have anything to do with football when you're hitting each other out there and you don't have a team? Like, really?
Yeah.
I mean, heart and soul, that'll win in a movie. It's not going to win
Yeah.
in January and February for the Super Bowl. Heart and soul, you're not going to be able to walk away with
Yeah.
the Super Bowl ring just with your heart and your soul.
For sure.
Example of that, we saw everyone thinking that maybe the Lions had a good chance at this, being still at their highest power as they were in the past, but we see Montgomery's hurt now. A lot of more defenders are hurt, and it's just piling and piling up, and it's to the point where you can't just say they're going to still contend even without all their star players.
Absolutely. Now, looking ahead this week, listen, I think they're going to come out on top. I think this week they're going to win, but it's going to be a struggle. And we're going to see them struggle against some teams that 2 or 3 weeks ago they would destroy. We saw 50-point games. We saw 40-point games. How does that change with the D-line basically being gone?
I think the offense is gonna have to put up bigger numbers, obviously, to secure their win and secure their totals. But at the end of the day, you just gotta battle out there and try your best. I mean, that's all I can do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I also think that there needs to be another guy in Detroit that needs to step up. Obviously, Amon-Ra had an amazing game last Sunday. With Montgomery going out, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to take a bigger role. Laporta's going to have to take a bigger role. And Jameson Williams, too, is going to take a bigger role.
Listen, you were talking about Amon-Ra St. Brown. Let's go to some other receivers here. I'm looking at the Bengals. The Bengals receiving core this week has just – they've shown out. They've shown out every week.
Every week, yeah.
It's
I mean,
just-
Jamar Chase, he's an Offensive Player of the Year candidate right now. I mean, of course, we all could probably agree that Saquon's going to end up winning it.
Yeah.
But Jamar Chase is not far from that.
Well, listen, I think there's some MVP talk for Saquon. I think he's still in the conversation.
MVP, it's a quarterback's award. I'm sorry.
But-
It's going to be Josh Allen, and
That's not how it should be.
it's not how it should be, but that's what it's been since 2012.
Let's
So
take a look at the Bills again. It's not just Josh Allen. You got some great guys who help Josh Allen. A quarterback needs his receivers. He needs a running back. You can't say that a quarterback runs the ship because I think the roles are really split. Especially, you were talking about James Cook before. He is just great. The Lions could not take him down for the whole second half of the game, I'd say.
I think another problem was in that game, you had the injured line secondary with Carlton Davis out. And, I saw a couple plays, I saw one play with Dawson Knox was wide open. He had maybe a 40-yard catch. And then Josh Allen was just had all day. The D-line had no pass rush, and he was just running all over the place. He just throws up a ball, and Matt Collins has it. Another player right there, Matt Collins. He's been absolutely incredible filling the role for a guy like Stephon Diggs, who left, obviously. So he's going to really help them out, and I think that in the postseason to watch out, he's going to be one guy to watch.
Now, speaking on Stephon Diggs, let's talk about Houston real quick. These guys this week have a really tough matchup against the Chiefs. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah.
I mean, one thing that I do see a positive for Houston is the injured. I mean, obviously he's going to play, but Pat Mahomes with his ankles again, I mean, he's not going to be as effective as he's been for the entire season.
But it's still Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. I mean, he did in the playoffs last year.
Yeah. And
He'll be-
listen, and I heard in the beginning of the season, oh, this guy's throwing picks constantly. This guy's not the same guy. He's still performing at a level to where the team has one loss.
Yeah.
You can say they're the worst one-loss team ever. They're still a one-loss team.
Yeah.
And that's just undeniable, like, in my opinion. I don't know.
For Houston here, I think you really gotta have guys like what's his name, Daniil Hunter.
Yeah.
He's gotta go.
Yes.
He's gotta
Yeah.
go after Mahomes. If he gets
Mhm.
pressure on Mahomes, bad decision making could happen. He's not gonna be able to run with his leg. So if you could get to the quarterback, put pressure on him, and cause a turnover or something, that's certainly what you want to
You
try
could
to
also
do.
say, I remember he had a forced fumble last week, and you gotta watch out for those two on the edge against Mahomes. And I think the Chiefs, what really needs to happen for the Chiefs is the running game to step up. Pacheco needs to make himself known once again.
Well, listen, Pacheco still coming off an injury. This guy, like, you can't really expect a guy like that, whether he's a superstar or not, to come off an injury and just go for it. It's really difficult for that. And you were talking about edge rushers in the D line. Let's talk about crazy matchup this week. We have Ravens Steelers again once more. T.J. Watt, what's he gonna do? Like, really?
So last week, he went down with an injury, and
That's right,
it was like on a pass rush. Seemed kind of a non-contact situation, but he was okay. So I think this week, barring another injury, I think he'll be fine. I think that obviously Lamar Jackson, speedy. That's the only thing that comes to your mind. And getting him, keeping him inside the pocket, make sure he can't go off. That's going to be the number one thing. Alex Highsmith, Patrick Queen coming on the blitz, all them, they got to get shit. First.
I personally think the Ravens are going to upset the Steelers. I mean, the last time they played a couple weeks ago, they lost by 2 points, 16-18. A low-scoring game, but I think the Ravens, like, as the year's going on, they're becoming a better football team.
Absolutely,
They're
yeah.
building. They're still a young team.
That's
They're
right.
still building chemistry, and I think that they're going to win this game, and I think that they're going to make a push in the playoffs.
George Pickens too is going to be a big factor in him not playing once again with his hamstring injury that he's dealing with.
That's going to be. But listen, we saw the Steelers win without George Pickens.
Yeah.
Like, are we really worried? And I think Russell Wilson, criticize the guy all you want. He balls out. The guy, he's great. He
He's
gets
got
some good rushing
experience.
yards.
He's a game manager.
That's good.
He knows how to
That's good,
manage
yeah.
the game. Stats aren't always the best, but I mean, if you're a quarterback, obviously you need all the numbers and all that if you want to win the accolades. But if you want to win football games, sometimes it's on the ground.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you throw the ball 20 times a game, you can still walk away with a win.
For sure.
But I mean, he's a game manager. He's a good sport. He knows how to. He's not like one of those ego head guys where he wants to be throwing the ball. He wants to be running the ball. Like he's doing whatever to win the game.
And if we're talking about guys on the ground, Derrick Henry, I feel like the past 2 weeks we really haven't seen this guy shine. I feel like
I've definitely seen a little bit of him slowing down as of late.
it might be a little bit of a decline if I'm
think
going to
so.
say anything. He's an older guy, and no matter what he does, no matter how he takes care of his body, age is going to catch up to him eventually.
Especially with the demanding load that he's been since the start of his career. I mean, guys getting 30 carries a game. Like your body's taking a toll every single game, and it's eventually going to catch up to him, like you were saying.
Like a player like Derrick Henry, who is a literal tank on the football field.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even those guys, they're eventually going to go down. It's just health declining. He's already like 30 maybe.
Yeah,
He's getting up there.
Definitely, yeah.
And
I think I take a little bit of that workload off and give it to Lamar. Obviously, I think you got to get some more read options.
Yeah.
And just make sure he gets out of the pocket more this game, especially with the Steelers pass rush.
I think they might be saving Derrick Henry because they know that they're going to be in the playoffs. They know they're going to be making a push. Justice Hill, I mean, his roles also went up, so I think they're trying to save Derrick Henry for the bigger games.
last week, I don't think he put above 30. He's just relaxing in the pocket as of
They
recently.
had an air attack against the Giants.
That is
it
absolutely.
was just
Yeah.
fully, Zay Jones, all of them.
Just
Absolutely.
week second, third. That's what it really is.
Yeah.
The Giants D line. You could say that the Giants D line is pretty solid, but you could see the Giants the corners they've been banged up lately, and
Yeah.
it's just they've been easily taken advantage again and again.
And also, the Giants are clearly tanking as of recently.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's you have to admit it. You want to win football games, but you're also worried about the future. Like, come on, you got to get new quarterback, obviously, whether
Yep.
it's Shador Sanders or Cam Ward, doesn't matter. You got to get one of them.
Mhm.
So they have to tank for that first pick because you don't want the Raiders to get that other quarterback maybe you wanted. So listen, at this point, it's all about for the Giants and the Raiders and even I want to say the Jets. I'm sorry,
Yes,
Sticks. These guys are not good right now. They might need a quarterback too because I don't see a future with Aaron Rodgers for them. I'm sorry.
I see another year at tops with him.
Maybe.
I think he comes back one more year, maybe
Yeah.
mentors a younger quarterback. I think maybe they use Jordan Travis if he comes back from injury
Mhm.
next year, or even they draft like a Jalen Milrow
That-
or like a late round Dylan Gabriel or something like
The
that.
thing that these New York teams need is a quarterback that can move.
And one that can last for over maybe 6, 7.
That too. Listen, we're
And
looking
new
at
coaches too. You could argue
new coaches.
new
Yeah,
GMs.
but listen, let's move on to some fantasy hot takes because I know you guys have been itching to get to there. I've noticed recently, obviously with all these injuries, Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to take a huge step this week. We're going to see tons of targets,
For sure.
tons of receptions. I can't guarantee a touchdown. You can never guarantee a touchdown in a football game, but we're going to see targets. We're going to see yards. So if there's anything I recommend to you, start Amon-Ra if you haven't already.
Other thing, I think that hot take, sit Tyreek Hill. He's
Yeah.
been on a
Yep.
decline as of lately because of Tua last week threw 3 interceptions,
Mhm.
put up 12 points, and he really wasn't effective at all. I mean, Derek Stingley was absolutely insane.
Mhm.
He was just locking up Tyreek every day, and I mean, you got to sit Tyreek Hill, get a guy like maybe a Devontae Adams in there who's on your bench, something like that.
But
I mean,
Tyreek Hill is still a wide receiver one. I think you're missing that. When Tyreek Hill has a game, he has one of the best games ever. He's wide receiver one.
Yes.
When he has his games and has his moments, he's out there, he's getting it done. So I have to disagree with you there, Steve. I just don't see it.
I actually disagree with you on this one, Joe. I think Tyreek Hill. I mean, as of late, you could blame this on Tua, you could blame this on anyone else, but Tyreek is not getting open as he once was. You could argue this in Houston. He barely touched the ball once, and you could argue this is Tua's fault, but whether you see it or not, Tyreek is just not getting the ball as much as he used to, and and I don't think it's gonna go up from there.
But how can you say that when there's players like Jaden Reed out there who get no targets a game sometimes, and then the next week they put up 40 points?
Yeah, but this is
It's one of those players where you have to gamble.
Yeah,
Fantasy, you're never gonna have a player who, other than maybe Lamar Jackson, who puts up like 30 points consistently every
Josh
week,
Allen too.
or Josh Allen. You're not gonna have a receiver like that.
Mhm.
Let me change my stance. You're never gonna have a receiver who's consistently putting up 30 points a week. I'm sorry, it's not gonna happen. So Tyreek Hill, wide receiver one, I think you take the risk.
I'm with you. I mean, Jalen Waddle, he was ruled out of the game midway through it last
Mhm.
week. I mean, no one is ever gonna come back from an injury
Yeah.
that quickly. So Tyreek Hill, I'm with Joe on this one. I think you have to play him. He's gonna have a big impact this week. I have a feeling.
Yeah.
49ers defense is really good. Travarius Ward and their linebackers.
He's no Derek Stingley though. I mean,
Yeah,
Derek Stingley,
Yes, Derek
2 interceptions like last week. Like I think Derek
It's-
Stingley's one of the top 5 cornerback in the league right now.
Yes,
I can agree with that.
I think Tua struggles again. I think he probably throws another 2 interceptions.
Yeah,
I don't think he's going to
I
perform this
feel
week.
that.
I think the 49ers, this defense, their offense is very shaky, but their defense, I think they take over this one and help them win the game.
I just don't see it. The 49ers are just too beat up. No, even if you got a starter there, you got to look at the rest of the team, and I think just at the end of the day, every receiver is going to get some impact this week for the Dolphins.
For sure.
It's just going to happen. Seb, do you have any fantasy hot takes here?
I'm sure James Conner was the RB1 last week.
Yeah.
I can see that again this week as they play the Panthers. I mean, Panthers are known for not having a good run defense, and James Conner, the Cardinals' run game is just getting better and better and better. So I could see him being the overall RB1 again this week.
AJ, you have a fantasy hot take for us?
I do actually. I'm thinking about Brian Thomas Jr. That he should be in many fantasy starting lineups this week, especially with we've seen him emerge as that number 1 receiver, and even he could be a top 10 receiver. I think by maybe next year.
that top 10 receiver is very
I could definitely
big.
see it.
I'm gonna go
mean,
with AJ on this one. I think that
Ah,
I think if T Law's getting back next year, I think he's gonna be healthy, better than ever, and I
Okay.
think they're gonna get some upgrades in the draft. Fix up their O line and their defense or whatever they need. And I think that Lawrence is just he's gonna be that guy. Him and you got a vet like
Yeah.
Gabe Davis out there.
Yeah.
for sure.
And you're gonna just find you're gonna be like Brian Thomas. He's open, throw him the ball. He is
Yeah.
outstanding, and he. I hate to say it, but he destroyed one of the top corners in the league in soft
For sure. All right, let's get the games of the week real quick. So start with you.
We said it before, Ravens Steelers, but I'll go ahead and say a different one. The Dolphins and the 49ers. I think the Dolphins are going to win this because San Fran, they have a mess going on right now. I mean, Devondre Campbell walking out basically midway
Yeah,
through the game
that
last
is-
week. You can't have that in the NFL.
Gotta
Like, you
raise
can't have
questions.
that.
That's just a disrespect to your teammates. All right, listen, my game of the week. I think it's tonight. I think the game of the week's tonight. We're gonna see Broncos and we're gonna see the Chargers just go crazy. We have one of the best offenses and one of the best defenses just
Yes.
dueling it out. I think it's gonna be awesome. All right, Stiggs, go ahead.
I'm gonna take a little hot take here. I'm gonna take the Commanders versus the Eagles.
Wow. Okay.
And I think that, both star-studded offenses, rookie Jaden Daniels probably going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year.
For sure.
And, Offensive Player of the Year, Saquon Barkley. I think we're going to see an explosion of offenses this week.
Okay.
I think we could see a game, possibly both teams in the 40s and 30s this week.
Who's your winner for that?
I'm going to take the Commanders. They're at home. They got, last time they got beat. I think this time they come in and they beat the Red Hot Eagles.
Just because we have seen the upside of Jaden Daniels as of late, he's been playing great. I could see Terry McLaurin too having a big game.
sure.
Also, you could argue Brian Robinson is due for a big game anytime soon.
Yeah.
Because before he got hurt, he was just grabbing touchdown after touchdown in the red zone. So I can see a big game out of him coming up this Sunday too.
I agree with that too. I mean,
Yeah.
Eckler on the IR too, so he has all the carries. So
All
with
right,
that.
listen, we have to wrap it up here. Thank you for joining us. Look out for those games of the week. We'll see you next time.